Hello everyone, Lord Sara here. As promised, I'm releasing a PvP guide build video for my Necromancer. If you are new to my channel, please like and subscribe because we'll be covering a lot of PvP builds and guides related to Diablo 4. In many PvP videos, lower level enemies are killed and fights are likely to be unbalanced, which does not reflect the true power of showcased build. For this reason, in this video, I will only demonstrate fights with enemies that are the same level as me or higher. Alrighty, let's jump in. As a Necromancer, we are ranked a bit low against other classes in PvP, and we do lack the burst and survivability to go head to head with some other classes, especially barbs, rogues and druids. As a Necromancer, we need to be able to build differently. Yes, we can build towards Bone Spear with massive burst, however, I want to be able to fight outnumbered and don't want my build to be all about who gets that first shot in. So what is this build about? Before we get into specifics, this build is all about passive damage with minions. We do not have upfront raw damage in this build. People watching the gameplay might think you do no damage, and then suddenly you will see enemy go from 100 to 0. There is already so much damage in the game, especially in PvE, where you do not have to build into putting more damage that much in PvP. It's all about who has more CC breaks and ways to reset the fight. It's about trying to stay immune as much as possible while putting passive damage with minions. Let's demonstrate some fights. Here I'm going against the 4-man group, 2 barbarians, 1 sorcerer and 1 rogue. Really hard matchup for us. Initially we get the 2 barbarian down just at the same time with our proc damage. We are so close to killing level 95 sorcerer, however he pops his barrier just in time. We try to disengage here. Here's my mistake in this gameplay. I should have popped my ultimate. They're level higher than me, so they're killing my minions easier. And I have no minions. I use my CC break at the wrong time, but they push in and kill me just in time. I'm fighting a rogue, which is constantly CCing him, not giving me any chance, and he just dodged to a proc damage just like that. Here I'm fighting a level 93 barbarian, trying to play a little smart. He's busy with some other players over there. He's one-shotting everybody. He's gonna turn on me just in a second. He just turns on me. I am staying immune to his damage. I'm trying to not get his initial hit. We stun him. We try to pull away, create some distance. We're gonna stun him again and we just kill him. He's level 93 barbarian. Here I'm fighting against 2 players. They're also not in groups, so they also attack each other. We're just trying to not take their damage, trying to stay immune, stay in blood mist as much as possible, waiting for our window of opportunity. One person is stunned and we execute him just in time. It's time to kill the other barbarian. He's also stunned and we just kill him just like that. Alright, let's talk about the gear first. This is still work in progress. There might be things can be changed in the future and I will mention them as well. I would really love to have a Harley Quinn's crest here, but didn't get to drop yet. In the meantime, we're using the barrier, which I will probably still use this one. Even if I get the crest, I will probably put the aspect somewhere else. This is a really good aspect, defensive aspect, because every enemy we fight in PvP is considered as an elite, so even you attack an other enemy player, you will proc this aspect. And barrier is really important for our survivability in PvP, considering how much damage is out there. Second one, this is also a flex spot. If you're using hemorrhage as your basic ability, you may not need this one. However, I am not using it currently and I like the extra healing that I get from blood orb, so this aspect is really nice. We are using vulnerability aspect for Bone Spear. Bone Spear are spammable. We are not really relying on Bone Spear to get big damage out of it. We are simply using it to proc vulnerability, so we get a little bit more burst with our proc hitting the enemy. I'm currently using the armor aspect on the pants. I'm really waiting for the temerity here. I've been unlucky, I still didn't get it, but it's gonna make a huge difference on this build. The moment I get it, this is about blood mist. This build is about blood mist, and the moment you go into blood mist or pop a potion or pick up a blood orb, we're gonna get tons of barrier. So we will actually constantly have a barrier if we get temerity. But in the meantime, we're using the armor one simply because when we gain armor, our minions also gain armor. It makes us survivable. It makes our minions more survivable. So it's a good aspect to use in the meantime. This one is a classic. I think it's a no-brainer one. Your minion build, you increase your skeleton mages by 2, more essence generation, more chances of proccing the damage. As a weapon choice, we are using wand simply because of a lucky hit chance. Like I mentioned, this is a proc build. It's not about raw damage, one-shot build like many others. I don't think Necromancer has the luxury to go head-to-head with other classes. We're kind of not as strong as other classes, especially barbs and rogues. If you go head-to-head with them, try to one-shot them with the big bone spear damage, we will simply fail, in my opinion. So this build is all about staying immune to damage as much as possible with Blood Mist, and with the passive damage, let our minions do the job. And we have a lot of CC as well, so if you're staying immune and we proc a damage, you will see in the videos I'll be kiting, I'll be just being immune to damage while kiting in Blood Mist, and my minions will kill the enemy. Speaking of proc, this is the bread and butter, a cornerstone of this build. Without this unique, this build will not work. So it's a bit downside, but to make this build work, you need this unique. So wait until you get this one. And I actually got like 3 other of these, so I don't think it's that hard to get this one. But this is how we kill people. This is how we do a lot of damage in this build. We don't have raw damage. We don't go head to head with enemy like I mentioned. We are doing passive damage. We are staying immune to damage with Blood Mist, and our minions gets the job done for us. How do we stay in Blood Mist as much as possible? We are using this aspect. Blood Mist triggers a corpse explosion. It's been nerfed, it's not as strong anymore, but added with all the aspects, other aspects, and cooldown reduction stats we get, we can still stay in mist as much as possible. I think I have like 95, even sometimes 100% mist uptime. This is how to counter most of the one-shot builds out there. If you don't get hit, you don't die, and our minions do the rest for us with the proc damage. You can see right now I think I have almost 14 seconds of cooldown, and this gets reduced by other things during the combat, and you'll see in the gameplay a lot of times I stay in mist for as long as possible. This one is also another flex spot, but I really like the maximum essence. Maximum essence means more crit chance. It is really hard to swap builds in PvP to PvE. I also use a bone spear build in PvE because this build is not really good for PvE. We need more damage with our spammable. This helps us, and it's also good in PvP as well. We get more essence, more tools to play with. And we are using shield offhand. I'm liking shield in one end because we get more aspects, more room to plug aspects, and like I said, we do not need raw damage. People will be like, oh, you do no damage, this and that, but it's all about, as a Necromancer, you can't go head to head like I mentioned, so we need to be able to find a way to do passive damage while kiting the damage, and this is how this build is created. Some of the flex spots you can use this unique, but I like using my bone spear and proccing vulnerability. This is also good extra damage. It's passive damage still. You can use this one. This is a good alternative. Let's talk about the skill tree. As our basic damage, we are using Decompose. This might be an unpopular choice. It might not be the best in slot. I am personally enjoying it. Hemorrhage might be better here. If I replace the blood orb aspect, I might try hemorrhage more, but because I have the blood orb aspect, I'm using Decompose. It's nice essence generation. It's from range, it's channeled, and sometimes enemies play really defensive. I like to use this one to slow them, keep them in range, keep fiddling with them a little bit, and it has a lucky hit chance. I can stun them possibly. I think it has the highest lucky hit chance out of all basic damages. And then we are slowing the enemies from range, so I like this option. But hemorrhage might be better. Like I've been testing both here and there, and it's up to you. This is not really this is a good flex spot. As our spammable, we are using Bone Spear. I was messing with the Blood Lance a little bit, but Bone Spear is definitely superior. And with the aspect, we are using simply Bone Spear to have a higher crit chance, hit more crit damage, a little bit more pressure, but mainly we are using it to proc vulnerability. Like I said, this is a proc build. We do not do much damage with our spammable, but we are proccing vulnerability, and if we caught them in a CC, we can spam Bone Spear and maybe get the kill that way as well. Blood Mist, everything Necromancer needs in PvP. This is our this is the life of Necromancer. You need this one in PvP. I think everyone knows this. And I think the best way to build a Necromancer PvP to reduce the cooldown of Blood Mist as much as possible. We are reducing the cooldown with aspect, we are reducing with the stats, and we are reducing the cooldown with also Decrepify. Decrepify is really important, especially in a minion build. You are constantly CCing the enemy with this and also reducing the cooldown. It makes so much sense with a minion build because you have a lucky hit. The more damage instances you get from minions, you reduce the cooldown of mist, you constantly CC the enemy, and you will see in some gameplay that I will stun lock the enemy or I will constantly reduce the cooldown of mist super fast. That's all comes from Decrepify and minions. Some passives here, we're taking the Blood Orb and we're generating more Fortify as we generate corpses. We are taking this one for increased crit chance. And here, this is a really important trait about minions. I still need 2 more skill points from renown, so I will fill this one up. Army of Dead is our ultimate. It is really important for us to get our minions back. In addition, with the aspect, it procs the aspect. We get more damage speed from our minions. Again, like a proc based build, we get more chances of proccing the aspect to kill the enemy. And let's say you're in a situation where they killed all your minions. This comes really crucial because our minions are everything in this build. Without minions, we can't do much. And sometimes the enemy will focus on your minions. They don't die easy, but when they die, you can pop your ultimate and get them all back, which is really important for this build in my opinion. Last one, we are choosing Ratma's Vigor. More damage you can get from Ossified Essence if you have the aspect, and that's actually what I use in PvE. But in PvP, we are simply just taking Ratma's Vigor because the moment we pop Blood Mist, we also get a 2 seconds more cooldown reduction. It's all about staying in Mist as much as possible to counter all this damage out there. There is just so much damage in PvP. I feel like if you just build for more damage, it will just become who kills who first. But this way you can reset the fight as much as possible, stay in fight as long as possible, and you still get the kill because there is already so much damage. Let's talk about the Paragon board. This is still a work in progress. As currently as it is in the game, it is really hard to reset this, adjust for PvE and PvP. So I tried to do something hybrid for that can work in PvP and PvE as well. Must have though, we have the damage while fortified glyph here, still not maxed yet. But the must have board is actually the minion board that I will talk about more in here. Is that this board is actually make my minions really tanky. You need this board if you're a minion build. I see a lot of people complaining about minions dying super fast. However, since I plugged this board in, my minions became so much tankier, and this aspect is really good here. And I think it's a must-have for this build. This board is a flex spot because I said I do switch between PvE and PvP. I selected the Bone Spear build to get more damage from my spammable and get more crit damage, and extra essence is nice as well. But you can mess around with other boards here. It's just really hard to reset, and I don't think it makes that much of a difference yet because this is also a really good board, and this board is must-have. And it's still working towards it. So if you have any feedback on this one, if you let me know what works for you on the Paragon boards. I found this one working well for me so far, but there's a lot to experiment and find out here going forward. Book of the Dead, we are definitely using Skeletal Warriors Reaper just because we want to generate as much corpse as possible. The more corpse we have, the more healing we do our minions. If they die, we bring them back, so I think it's a very straightforward option. Skeletal Mages, another straightforward option as a minion build. Cold Mages, you can freeze the enemy, it's a good CC option, and then you generate so much more essence back, especially when you have 5 mages and you get crazy attack speed from your aspects. This is also a really good choice. I think it's the best in the slot here as well. We are sacrificing our golem. I'm using this one for PvE. It also works in PvP to get more critical strike damage. One thing though, there's a diminishing return to critical strike damage in PvP. After 150%, I think you are losing a lot more damage. So there's really no point of going over 150. So if you're already 150 in PvP with your gear or with your aspects, you might want to go to the blood choice where it gives you more life. More life means more healing for Necromancer. So sometimes I swap between these two depending on the situation I am in. Let's demonstrate the build and how it works more with more gameplay. Here is another barbarian approaches me. We're trying to stay immune to his initial burst. We're trying to find a window of opportunity to burst him with our proc damage. Thankfully, he's constantly CC'd while he was trying to put damage to us. Our minions constantly CC'd him and we were able to get the kill. Another barbarian comes back. We are trying to go into our mist form immediately so we don't get that initial big burst of Hoda Barb. We were lucky there, our mist just reset its cooldown, so he pulled back a little bit, gave me an opportunity to get my minions up. He pushes back in, my ultimate is up, there's so much damage going. My mist is up, I'm staying in mist, trying to not get hit by him. He's CC'd, now this is our opportunity and we get the kill right there. Like you can see, we constantly reduce the cooldown of our blood mist, which makes us immune to damage. We break CC, and then we are able to secure the kill with our minions while we are taking no damage. Here's another good fight. Merlin, very good sorcerer. He has a really good sorcerer build. We had many fights. He actually beat me in some other fights, and we even became friends. This is a good example of how mist works. You can see my blood mist cooldown constantly resets. Look at that. It's already up and I stay immune to damage while waiting for my minion to put that proc damage up. Another good fight, Rogue. He's getting CC'd by my minions. He can't even damage me. I'm trying to stay immune to his damage as well. He's CC'd, again CC'd, pop my ultimate. He's gonna get CC'd right here again. Try to go offensive. I don't want to get that big burst of his rogue damage. I stay immune to damage. All my minions are up. I'm very comfortable here. My mist is up. He's already dead by proc damage. Here's a bad fight. I got zerged down, so I come back immediately, find a sorcerer to fight. This is a bad start for me because I have none of my minions up, so I'm trying to play very defensive. He's pushing in, he has a lot of burst damage as well. His barrier is up, so there is no point for me to go offensive, so I'm trying to stay in mist as much as possible, not get his damage. I am stunned there, but luckily I get my ultimate out just in time. My minions are coming back slowly. He's CC'd. I'm in good condition now. Now I can go offensive and I am able to get the kill. Here's a level 93 barbarian. We do not back down. We're level 80. He's level 13 level above us. We push in. All my minions are up. I'm trying to CC him constantly, put some distance between me and him. He almost got me there, but my mist cooldown is up. I'm trying to stay immune to his damage like as always, waiting for that lucky hit by my minions. My barrier popped up there, my mist is popped up, I get no damage from him while my minions do all the work, and we are even able to kill level 93. Another barbarian fight. You can see a lot of people complaining about Hoda Barbs. This is how you counter them. You stay immune to their damage. He just killed the boss. We want to get all that loot. He pushes in. I see the incoming damage coming in, so I immediately pop my mist, trying to stay as immune as possible. He almost got us there, but our blood mist cooldown was up. This is a bad time, but lucky stun there by my minions. This build is also so good. We have a passive CC. We can get CC'd, but our minions can CC the enemy while we are CC'd, so we will still not get damaged. And by that time, our blood mist cooldown is up anyway. And then we got all the loot. Here fighting against multiple enemies. There's so much going on over there. We're gonna pull back a little bit. Merlin is here again, our sorcerer friend, very good sorcerer. He pushes in on us. We're gonna get a nice little 1v1 on the side over here. My minions are down, so I'm trying to get them back as quickly as possible. Thankfully, I have a lot of blood orbs on the ground, but in the meantime, we get a lucky proc and we got the kill. I hope this video was helpful. I tried to squeeze in as much info as possible with a lot of demonstration. All the fights I included was against players higher level than me. If you like the content, like and subscribe to the channel. I definitely plan to do more videos like this covering a lot of things related to Diablo 4 PvP. And if you have any questions or feedback, please comment below. This is a new game, we all are learning, so constructive criticism is very welcome. I also stream on Twitch pretty regularly. Come by the streams and we can theorycraft, talk Diablo 4 PvP there as well, and you can see the build live in action. Lord Sora here, thank you for watching, cheers.